Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is, what else more do you need to see? I took some time to do this video because I kind of wanted to get my thoughts together. We're nearing the end of Donald Trump's first and last term as president, and I could not be happier. The sooner we get this guy out of office, the better everyone would be. You know, Anybody today that think this guy, is honest, truthful, and for the people, you're delusional and you need help. It's just as simple as that. I cannot help you. You need some professional help. Now, for those who don't know, Donald Trump, it was a audio recording released of him pressuring the Secretary of State in Georgia to find some 11,780 votes. Now, before the audio was released, Donald Trump tweeted about the conversation to his mindless and willful ignorant followers that he talked to the Secretary of State, asked him about voter tampering, shredded ballots, and Secretary of State didn't have a clue. He didn't have any idea what was going on, disparaging this man. The Secretary of State responded in another tweet, well, the truth is going to come out. So therefore, he released the audio tape of the hour and 8-minute conversation. And it said the total opposite of what Donald Trump tweeted. Because most people need is Donald Trump to say something and they'll believe him. They don't get a second opinion or anything. They just listen to this guy, and that's all they go by. This man publicly tried to say he didn't know his job. Then when the Secretary of State released the audio, then you get people attacking the Secretary of State for recording the conversation, but say nothing about the falsehoods that Donald Trump was saying in the first place. You want to look at the legality the Secretary of State had for recording this conversation and releasing it, as opposed to the voter tampering that the president is engaging in. And keep in mind, this is the same thing he was impeached for before, but people downplayed that. He trying to get the president of Ukraine to say they're publicly investigating Joe Biden for some type of money fraud to get him out of the race. Now you're pressuring the Secretary of State to find a certain number of votes to win Georgia. That is illegal. And the sad thing about it is the same people that defend him is turning out to be the same people that's recording these interactions with him. You had his lawyer, his niece, Omarosa, and now you got the Secretary of State of Georgia recording the conversation. Why? Because if you say he said these things without the recordings, no one will believe him. But yet and still, and the thing is, even though the people are recording this conversation, they still turn around and back him publicly. They stand up for him. So ain't no telling how many other people are recording conversations with them because they're fearful of this man turning on them, saying something about them that's not true. And they all are keeping some type of, and I've never seen this before in my life. All the time Obama was in office, George Bush, whoever. I've never seen audio recordings being released to show that this person is deceptive. Only with Donald Trump. And you had the election was for president was on November 4th. This conversation came about on January 4th. Donald Trump, you call in the governor, I mean, not the governor, but the Secretary of State, and you're telling him that, what you heard, what you believe. You had from November 4th to January 4th to get proof, evidence. And you trying to call this guy to overturn an election 2 months later based on innuendo, gossip, rumor, and it's always the same. Somebody told me, well, this is what I heard, and this is in the recording. No facts, no absolutes, nothing. And with all the technology available today, it shouldn't take you 2 months to find the evidence you need to do the widespread tampering that you claim took place. And 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 one of the things that made me laugh when I watched the video, or listened to the audio, was the childhood antics that this man possessed. He's a big baby. They're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. And I just want to tell you that right now. Because they know what you've done. Then he start referring to himself as the third person. They're mad at what you did to the president. They don't like that. You know, Look at here. I'm 54 years old. I don't know how old the Secretary of State of Georgia is, but I am many years removed beyond me changing my course of action because someone is laughing at me. I don't give a F who laughed at me for what. It ain't going to change my opinion. It ain't going to change what I'm doing, whatever. But you want to use some childhood, when you can't get them to do what you want to do, then you want to revert to somebody's teasing you. That is, and then when you listen to the Secretary of State, and he's talking to Donald Trump as if he's negotiating with uh, somebody who took somebody hostage. Okay, calm down. What do you want? It's just, Donald Trump is, I heard they're dismantling the machines, or they're taking apart the machines. I heard he said, no, no, sir, no, no, Mr. President. No, that's not true. Uh, no, no one's doing that. You know, uh, I don't know, what you heard on the internet. He said the problem is with the internet, anybody can say anything. And Donald Trump talking about some, oh, I don't care about social media. I don't worry about, it's Trump media. That's the narcissism of this man. When you see white people willing to tear down their own system just to get personally ahead, what else more do blacks need to see? If this system was to collapse today, we have no way to feed ourselves. We have nothing that we have to give ourselves jobs, to continue educating our children, to see after our health. Nothing. And not one of these so-called black leaders is acknowledging this. When you see how fragile this infrastructure is, in the midst of a pandemic, 300,000 people dead, and this guy still has not come to terms with losing this election and focusing on fulfilling his duties for the rest of his tenure, and getting this COVID-19 under control. As a matter of fact, he hasn't even hardly said anything about it since the election. And he's this way because of his appeasers. People who just want to gather for themselves and don't do the will of the people. You have listening to the radio show and the guy called in talking about some, well, I heard the conversation, but I didn't hear anything illegal. He just told the Secretary of State to fine 11,780 votes. He didn't tell him to falsify. You know, you got people attacking the Secretary of State for recording the conversation. You don't confront Donald Trump for not being truthful about the conversation. You don't confront that. You don't confront Donald Trump about trying to get this guy to find more votes. And two things came to my mind when I'm listening to this. A long time ago, Donald Trump was on a radio program with Howard Stern, and he owned the beauty contest in Russia. So he was talking about how young and beautiful the women were. So Howard Stern was asking him if he ever, looked at the girls. And he said, well, I can do that because, I own the place. And I could walk in the back anytime and just say, I'm inspecting, and I can walk in, the girls be half dressed and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just inspecting. I'm not looking. I'm inspecting. Just like you want the Secretary of State to find you 11,780 votes, don't falsify them. Just recalculate. It ain't you won't raise no attention if you say you found these votes because you recalculated. How can you recalculate already certified votes? That's been certified at least 2-3 times. And you're going to do this the day before he shows up to campaign. And can you imagine if the Secretary of State had done that and declared Donald Trump the winner of Georgia? His speech would have been nothing about the candidates there. It would have been all about him. And even though the Secretary of State didn't do it, the majority of the speech was still all about Donald Trump. And the second thing I was thinking about was it was an episode of Good Times where James was having a hard time finding or paying the rent. So she was trying to make a point to James, telling JJ to go out and get some groceries. And JJ was like, well, I ain't got no money. She said, you don't need no money, JJ. Just find it. Just find it. So James got the point. You telling the Secretary of State to just find 11,780 votes. Just find them. If it was a court of law and Florida told JJ to just find the money to buy groceries, they would accuse her of telling JJ to go out there and rob somebody, possibly kill him, to get money and then probably steal groceries to bring the money back home. They're not going to sit up here and say, well, she didn't say for him to rob anybody. She just told him to go out and, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Donald Trump, for him to have to be, for his supporters, his appeasers, to have to admit that he's doing something wrong, Donald Trump is going to have to be caught on audio tape saying, look, I want you to falsify 11,780 votes, then sneak them into the ballot, recalculate them, add these false ballots to the initial count, So I will have enough votes so I can steal this election and take the state back from Joe Biden and rob the people of Georgia of their democratic process. No one on earth is going to say all that. You know, let me let me conclude this video with this. We right now are in a political environment where you have millions of dollars being spent on this election in Georgia for these two seats. If the Democrats win both of them, that will split the Senate 50-50. And the Vice President of the United States is the deciding factor. And that being a Democrat, that will give the House control of the Senate. The problem is we are in a political environment where if you Democrat and you Republican, there isn't not one Republican that's going to agree to any policies that the Democrats propose, and not one Democrat that would agree to any policy that the Republicans propose. Can you imagine living in a home where your mother and your father don't agree on anything? Who's stuck in the middle? The children. Who's stuck in the middle of this situation? The people. We should not have to be in an environment like this where any policy from any party should be able to gather at least 5, 10, 15 votes from either side that agree. It should not be, I get one person more than you, and I can guarantee I can push my agenda through. Or I can guarantee I can block your agenda because I know not one person is going to break rank. Family, this is a situation that, or this is a house that cannot stand. If you was a child and living in this environment, when you grow up and leave out of there, you will know that you're going to have to do something different than where you left. You're not going to put your children through what you had to go through. This is the same conclusion we should reach as a people. How long are we going to sit in this political environment where we are suffering, we have no ownership and control over anything, and you spending millions of dollars just for one more person to be elected, and then you have gridlock for the next at least 2 years? If blacks broke and started creating their own businesses and industries, that will force the Republican and Democrat to work together, because now we won't be supporting either one of them. And then their attention will be focused on us. And then they'll know they'll have to change. But as long as we sit back and suffer and wait on a $600 freaking check, they're going to continue this nonsense. And the thing is now, getting Donald Trump out of office is not um, the thing we need to be focusing on. Because you could put any other fool back in Washington. And if he's strong-willed enough, he can dominate these guys just like Donald Trump had. And they'll be perpetuating this guy, putting him out there, but secretly protecting themselves from him while you portray him out for a leader of the people. We have to protect ourselves. It's not going to be through no Democratic or Republican collaboration. We have to collaborate with ourselves and build for ourselves. This is absolutely ridiculous. And like I say, getting Donald Trump out of office is not should not be the main goal, because you still had millions of people that voted this guy. After all this nonsense, they still voted for him, and they're going to be upset when he get out of there. And you're going to have these people to contend with once Joe Biden get in there. Ain't no telling what type of riots or whatever. They're supposed to have riots in Washington now, fighting to keep this guy in office that they know is only for them, is for himself. We got to be about ourselves and do for our own people. I'm gonna end this video here, and if you like this message, please share it. And with this video, as well all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.